BLACKPINK's rise has been watched by millions, but behind the headlines, there are stories and struggles that rarely get mentioned. From hidden tensions to unexpected challenges, this video explores what no one admits about BLACKPINK, starting with their most recent dating news. Jisoo was briefly in a relationship in August 2023 with actor Ahn Bohyun, but it ended just 2 months later in October. Even after that chapter closed, her name didn't stay out of the spotlight as new rumors kept surfacing, most recently tying her to BTS's Jin. To explain, in July of this year, during one of his tour stops, Jin appeared on stage wearing a checkered shirt paired with a straw hat. Around the same time, Jisoo posted photos from BLACKPINK's tour, and fans quickly noticed she was also wearing a checkered shirt that looked almost identical to his. That small similarity was enough to spark speculation, with some convinced the two were secretly hinting at a relationship. For the most part, though, these talks were treated as playful jokes between the fandoms, since it's well known the two are simply friends. Still, the idea of them as a couple stirred plenty of excitement, with many imagining the kind of buzz they'd create if it were ever true. Jennie's dating history has long drawn attention, including a confirmed relationship with EXO's Kai, but her name has been mostly linked to BTS's Taehyung in the last few years. The buzz began back in 2021 when Taehyung briefly followed her on Instagram before unfollowing, sparking curiosity among fans. The following year, a photo surfaced that appeared to show him driving with someone who looked like Jennie on Jeju Island. Some fans were convinced it was genuine, while others suspected it had been edited. Whatever it was, the rumors escalated as more images leaked, allegedly capturing the two in close proximity during what seemed like couples trips in Jeju or visits to each other's homes. YG Entertainment, Jennie's agency, issued warnings and threatened legal action against anyone spreading harmful content or infringing on her privacy. The chatter peaked again in May 2023 when a video emerged, supposedly showing Jennie and Taehyung holding hands during a stroll in Paris, sending speculation into overdrive. Despite all these reports, neither YG nor HYBE has confirmed or denied a romantic connection. Some rumors suggested they parted ways when Taehyung enlisted in the military, but newer discussions hint that the two might still be together, keeping fans guessing. For example, shortly after Jennie's birthday this year, a post surfaced claiming that she and Taehyung had celebrated the day together. The poster pointed to similarities between Jennie's bag and pointy shoes in one of her Instagram photos, and items supposedly seen in Taehyung's own post. However, many fans quickly debunked this, noting that the seasons in the photos didn't match and that Taehyung's image was likely from a long time ago. Rumors flared again in July when Taehyung shared pictures from his time in Paris, including one where he carried a teddy bear handbag. Some fans linked it to Jennie's known love for plushie bags, especially teddy bear designs, but this was far from solid evidence. Actually, the discussions intensified once Taehyung finished his military service. International fans pointed to matching keychains, mutual social media likes, and unverified claims that Jennie had flown to Los Angeles to see him. Despite all the speculation and coincidences, no official statement has ever confirmed anything, leaving the rumored relationship entirely unverified. Rosé has never gone public with a relationship, but that hasn't stopped people from speculating. The talk grew louder when she released her first full album, Rosé. During promotions, she admitted that some of the songs came from her own experience with a painful breakup, hinting that she had once been in a toxic relationship. Naturally, fans began wondering who the mystery ex might be, and several names surfaced, one of the most popular being Cha Eunwoo. The dating rumors between Rosé and Eunwoo go back to 2021 when both posted photos from the same art exhibition. A year later, in 2022, they were in Paris at the same time for Fashion Week, and fans noticed they uploaded pictures from what seemed to be the same restaurants. The coincidences didn't end there. In 2023, Eunwoo was spotted at Coachella on the exact day BLACKPINK performed and was later seen at their after party, which many took as another sign of a close connection. Things didn't stop with that. In April, both Rosé and Eunwoo shared posts from Team Lab's Planets Museum in Japan just days apart, with their photos looking so similar that fans couldn't help but connect the dots. They've also been seen attending several of the same events, which only added more fuel to the fire. Still, despite all the theories and timelines fans have pieced together, neither Rosé's team nor Eunwoo's agency has ever confirmed or denied the rumors. As a result, the speculation tends to fade away for a while before it picks back up again every few months. Rosé has also been tied to NCT's Jaehyun, even though the two have barely, if ever, interacted publicly. Their names had been linked together for a long time, but the discussion was reignited after a supposed insider came forward online claiming to be a former YG Entertainment employee. This person alleged that Jaehyun was the toxic ex Rosé once hinted about, and the statement quickly spread across social media. The claim set off a wave of debates, with some people doubting whether the source was even real, while others immediately took it at face value. Soon, Jaehyun's accounts were flooded with harsh comments from fans who believed he was the one responsible for Rosé's heartbreak. But like most rumors in the industry, nothing solid ever backed up these accusations. fans. With no real evidence connecting them, many saw dragging Jaehyun into the story as unnecessary, especially since the situation mirrored the speculation around Cha Eunwoo, lots of theories, but no confirmation to support them. After Rosé's song was released, some fans began pointing fingers at someone outside the celebrity world, more specifically Choi, a skateboard instructor known for working with several skate shops. The speculation grew stronger when he uploaded a story on Instagram that featured a rose, which many interpreted as a subtle reference to her. This small post was enough to trigger a wave of assumptions, and before long, Jason's account was flooded with comments from Rosé's fans. Unfortunately, some were rude and others went as far as leaving hate messages. The situation eventually pushed him to clear things up. Through another Instagram story, Jason explained that he was not Rosé's ex, although he admitted he was a fan of hers, and he politely asked people to stop leaving negative comments on his page. Jaden Smith's name also got pulled into the mix, with some people even convinced he was the toxic ex Rosé had been singing about. The rumor took off after the release of her music video Toxic Till the End, where the male lead had pink hair and looked strikingly similar to Jaden. That resemblance, combined with his long-standing connection to BLACKPINK, made fans start drawing their own conclusions. The two had been seen together before, most notably at Coachella in 2019, where Jaden was spotted spending time with Rosé privately. He had also mentioned her name in his track Your Voice, which only added fuel to the theory. For many, these small details painted a picture that seemed to fit, and the idea that he might be the ex spread quickly. But when fans started looking closer, the timeline didn't add up. Jaden was reportedly dating model Sabzada steadily from 2020 through 2024, while Rosé spent most of those years based in South Korea. On top of that, Jaden was seen meeting up with BLACKPINK just last year, happily taking photos with all the members. If he had been the ex who caused Rosé pain, it wouldn't make sense for her to greet him so warmly. The rumors finally came to a stop when Rosé herself addressed them directly. During a Vanity Fair lie detector test, she denied that the song was about Jaden, making it clear they're simply good friends, even going as far as saying hello to him on camera to prove there was no bad blood. The rumor that got the most attention involved actor and model Evan Mock, who played the toxic ex in Rosé's music video. Even though that role wasn't real, people started speculating after the two were spotted together in New York. At one point, Evan was seen helping Rosé out of a car, which many took as a date, and the fact that they shared an on-screen kiss only fueled the idea. Things grew when gossip site Dumois claimed on December 12th that the two were romantically linked. They reported a reader saw them on their way to her album release party, even quoting someone who claimed Rosé was calling Evan her boyfriend. But fans pushed back, saying Dumois relies on unverified tips and the supposed exclusive sighting wasn't really private at all. Some stories went further, saying Rosé was flying to the US just to see him and that they had taken trips together. But fans quickly pointed out that Evan's ex, photographer Gray Sorrenti, was still posting photos of him in August, right when he filmed the music video with Rosé, which means he was still with Gray at the time. On top of that, Gray is YSL's main photographer, and since Rosé is Saint Laurent's global ambassador, the two work closely together. For most fans, the idea that Rosé would date Gray's boyfriend while still collaborating with her professionally just didn't make sense, so the rumor eventually lost weight. Lisa, on the other hand, has been linked to Frédéric Arnault, the CEO of LVMH watches, for a long time, but fans haven't stopped speculating about her past relationships. On August 14th, she released a short film for her song Dream, where she stars alongside Japanese actor Kentaro Sakaguchi. The story shows a romance cut short, ending with Lisa accepting her partner's passing. The bittersweet imagery, paired with the lyrics, sparked endless theories about who inspired the song. Among the many names, the one fans point to most often is Jung Jae-won, better known as Rapper One. The rumors between Lisa and Jae-won stretch back to before BLACKPINK's debut, when they were reportedly spotted together. Jae-won himself once said on a live stream that they shared a friend circle with icons Bobby, Mino, Jinan, Donghyun, and Hanbin, with Lisa as the only woman. Suspicion grew when he publicly wished her a happy birthday on Instagram, only to delete the post shortly after. From 2017 to 2019, fans picked up on more things that tied the two together. In September 2018, Lisa uploaded a photo of herself smelling flowers, just weeks after Jae-won posted almost the exact same thing. Their feeds also featured pictures from similar locations with matching poses. The moment that caught the most attention came during BLACKPINK's Seoul concert in November 2018, when Jae-won sent a massive yellow flower wreath, her rumored favorite. Lisa even posed with it, and the ribbon clearly read One. While some argued it was just a friendly gesture since other idols also sent flowers, many fans believed it hinted at more. People also noticed Lisa wearing clothes that seemed to belong to Jae-won, his reaction when Whistle unexpectedly played on his live stream, and even the use of identical filters in their photos. Despite this, neither of them ever confirmed anything. By mid-2019, the speculation began to fade. Jae-won announced his departure from YG, and not long after, Lisa posted throwback pictures with the hashtag #KillThisLove along with Post Malone's goodbyes. Then on November 11th, the same day Jaehyun dropped his first full album Private 01, Lisa shared a black and white photo of the same lake and mountain she had posted before. For many, that grayscale shot symbolized the quiet end of their rumored connection. This is why so many fans see Dream as a subtle farewell to Jaehyun. The resemblance between him and Kentaro Sakaguchi, parallels between the video's dialogue and things Jaehyun once said, and even similarities in wardrobe managed to convince people that the song and short film may be her way of closing that chapter. Still, just like every other relationship rumor tied to Lisa, none of it has ever been confirmed. Like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more BLACKPINK updates, from their newest releases and performances to personal glimpses and insider stories that give a fuller picture of the group. But while their personal lives have been the talk of the internet, things on stage haven't been going smoothly either. Let's look at the issues that surrounded BLACKPINK's tour before it even started. The name of BLACKPINK's 2025 World Tour was just announced, but instead of excitement, fans are raising red flags. Whispers of money problems at YG, talk of the members being forced to join, and suspicions about strange timing have taken over. Was this tour really planned for BLACKPINK, or is there something YG doesn't want us to know? On February 5th, a teaser dropped hinting at a much-anticipated BLACKPINK 2025 tour, but with zero dates or details, fans were left confused, and the timing made it even weirder. The members were still focused on solo projects, so a group tour wasn't something anyone saw coming. On top of that, YG hadn't even said anything about a comeback yet, so to a lot of fans, it felt rushed, like YG was scrambling and threw out the tour announcement without a real plan. A commenter wrote, "You know it's so soon considering they didn't even give a name to the tour. It's just 2025 World Tour." On February 19th, YG finally released the actual tour schedule. BLACKPINK would kick things off in Goyang on July 5th and 6th, then head to North America by the end of July, and hit Europe starting August 2nd in Paris at Stade de France. Things wrap up with a 3-day finale at Tokyo Dome in January 2026. Some extra dates were added as well, thanks to high demand. But even with all that info, fans were still uneasy. With no comeback announced, the whole thing felt off. Was this just a repeat of their last tour with a few tweaks? Would they be performing new songs before even releasing them? Or was YG planning to drop something unexpected in the middle of the tour? No one really knew what to expect, and that only added to the confusion. As you may know, BLACKPINK's contract situation dominated headlines in 2023. With their YG deals ending in September, everyone was waiting to see if they'd stick around or walk away. Fans figured YG would fight to keep them, as they were the company's biggest act, but it was also obvious the girls were craving more freedom, especially with how little control they seemed to have over their music and promotions. In the end, they made a surprising but smart move. They stayed together as BLACKPINK, but split off for solo careers. And that decision paid off fast. Within months, 3 members launched their own labels, dropped solo music at a pace that blew BLACKPINK's group discography out of the water, and made huge waves both in Korea and globally. By late 2024 and early 2025, solo releases were flying out one after another. Rosé's Rosie arrived in December, Jisoo dropped Amortage on February 14th, Lisa's Alter Ego followed on February 28th, and Jennie's Ruby hit on March 7th. Jisoo and Jennie also went on mini tours. Lisa and Jennie performed at Coachella in April, and it looked like things would quiet down just in time for the summer. At first glance, it seemed like BLACKPINK was gearing up to promote as a group again, seeing as they renewed with YG for group activities, but behind the scenes, that might not have been the full story. To a lot of people, this wasn't some carefully planned comeback tied to their contract renewal, and it wasn't happening because the members were eager to reunite. More and more fans started to believe the real reason is simple. YG might just be in trouble, and this tour could be their last-ditch effort to fix it. Everyone knows BLACKPINK is the backbone of YG. Even though groups like Treasure and Baby Monster debuted after them, none have come close to BLACKPINK's level of success. So when the members decided not to renew their solo contracts with YG, the company was bound to take a hit, and they did. Big time. In February, it was revealed that YG had a tough year in 2024. For the first time ever, they ended the year with an operating loss. Despite pulling in 365.8 billion Korean won, or about $250 million in revenue, they still lost 23.9 billion Korean won, or around $16.4 million in operations, and ended up with a net deficit of roughly 500 million Korean won, which is over $340,000. While they'd seen a dip in net income before, like in 2019, this was their first recorded operating loss. It was a serious financial blow, and it made one thing clear. YG couldn't afford to wait. They needed a quick solution, and many now believe that rushing out BLACKPINK's tour was their way of trying to stay afloat. To cut their losses, YG made a bold move at the start of 2025. They shut down their entire acting division. On January 17th, the company announced it would part ways with all its actors, explaining that it wanted to shift its focus entirely back to music. In their statement, YG thanked both the actors and fans for their support, saying they'd continue managing them until their current contracts expire, but none would be renewed. That meant big names like Lee Sung-kyung, Jang Ki-young, Lee Soo-hyuk, and Son Na-eun were all being let go. Just a few days later, on January 21st, YG tried to change the narrative by launching something new: the 2025 YG National Audition Tour. The company began a major talent search across 6 cities, running from February 7th to 23rd, with 7 audition dates in total. It was a clear push to rebuild, new faces, new energy, and maybe a fresh start. Rumors also started flying that YG was planning to debut a new boy group this year, though nothing's been confirmed yet. Still, between closing an entire division and launching a nationwide search, it's obvious the company is scrambling to recover itself. Looking at everything that's happened, it's not hard to see why some people feel BLACKPINK may have been pushed into this group tour. The members have been thriving individually, and some would argue they're even bigger solo than they were as a group. That kind of shift likely made investors uneasy, especially with YG already under financial pressure. But instead of rushing out a group release and short promo cycle, YG went straight for the big money: a tour. Live shows bring in way more revenue than album sales, so launching a tour first could have been their way of stabilizing things fast. There's also the concern that fans might focus more on buying solo albums or merch, leaving less excitement and money for the group's comeback. By putting out the tour announcement early, even before a single comeback detail, they lock in ticket sales and create breathing room. Some believe this means the album wasn't even ready and YG needed time to stall, but this way, fans start saving and spending on the tour first, guaranteeing income upfront before anything else drops. What really fueled the belief that this tour wasn't planned from the start was a blind item dropped during the Oscars. If you're not familiar, blind items are basically gossip leaks that spill the tea without saying any names. But this one had enough clues for fans to connect the dots. The timing, the wording, everything about it screamed BLACKPINK. And it added fuel to the theory that the tour wasn't part of a long-term plan, but something thrown together fast behind the scenes. The blind in question read, "This foreign-born one-named singer says she and other members of the group didn't want to tour this year, but were forced. They are essentially being blackmailed." Although the blind item didn't directly name anyone, it was pretty obvious that the foreign artist mentioned was Lisa, and that the story was about BLACKPINK's upcoming tour. This revelation sparked a lot of anger, with many accusing YG Entertainment of deliberately interfering with the members' solo careers to force group activities. For example, fans pointed out that tickets for the tour went on sale just one day before Lisa's album release, which only added to suspicions that the company prioritized the group's comeback over individual promotions, with a commenter writing, "YG is always announcing group events or schedules whenever she releases something. They put tickets on sale for BLACKPINK's World Tour Cinema exactly on the release of her first solo too." Other people suggested that YG could be trying to cash in on the members' solo achievements, thinking the company is in urgent need of money and pushing the group into more promotions to secure quick profits. On the other hand, many fans dismissed these worries, thinking that people were just reading too much into the situation. They pointed out that Young Hyun-suk had mentioned a BLACKPINK world tour way back in the summer of last year, suggesting this wasn't a last-minute push by YG. The tour likely had been part of the group's contract talks from early on, not a sudden pressure tactic. People also say the solo project seemed rushed because the whole timeline was planned long ago, over a year and a half in fact. The members themselves shared in interviews that they intended to spend 1 year focused on solo work and then come back together for group activities. But starting their own agencies and working on full albums took more time than expected. So to keep everything on track, they ended up releasing their solo projects close together just before the tour was announced. However, there's a recent growing fear that this could be BLACKPINK's final run as a group. Even though the members clearly care about each other and want to work together, their solo careers and personal projects seem to be thriving far more and feel like a better fit for them right now. The tour's title, Deadline, has only fueled these worries, making fans think this might just be a way for BLACKPINK to wrap up their contract with YG and say a proper goodbye before everyone moves on. Fans have also picked up on the lack of effort in the tour's poster and even the choice of the name itself, seeing it as a sign that this tour was rushed and not planned with much care, with a user saying, "You tell me it took them a whole year to come up with this lame poster with the same design and font as last tours?" Not to mention, the tour kicks off in July, yet there's been no official comeback announcement from the group. Earlier this month, Lisa mentioned they'd been in the studio recently and were excited to reunite and tour, which led fans to wonder what's next. Some think new music might drop either after the tour begins or just before it starts, while others believe the tour won't feature any new group songs at all. Instead, they expect the shows to mainly spotlight solo tracks from each member, with the last 30 minutes reserved for Blackpink's biggest hits. If this really is a farewell tour, that setup would make a lot of sense. A leaker who had some correct info before about Blackpink's comeback, like hints about songs and lyrics, shared new details about the next comeback, but none of it is confirmed, so keep it in mind. According to this source, the group actually finished recording their next release back in April. So when Lisa said they were in the studio recently, it was just for small fixes, things like tweaking beats and background vocals. The leaker added that some parts were recorded together, while others were done separately because of their busy schedules. They also claimed the comeback was supposed to drop in May, but YG delayed it because of their usual mishandling and said that the comeback announcement should come soon. The leaker described the new concept as similar to How You Like That, but bigger and better, moving beyond just a girl crush vibe. Earlier, this same leaker shared a picture they said was from a Blackpink recording session in April and even posted a bit of a lyrics teaser. But again, nothing is confirmed. In fact, many fans think the members haven't even recorded new group songs recently and that the upcoming release might just be old scrapped tracks put out to fill the gap. With no comeback announcement in sight, Blackpink fans are growing increasingly frustrated by the agency's silence and lack of clarity. At this point, all they can do is wait, patiently or not, for any official update or a confirmed date. But knowing YG's history, it seems likely that fans might be left waiting a long time yet again. The tour drama didn't just affect the fans, it also reflected bigger problems within YG Entertainment itself. Here's how the company is struggling with Blackpink. YG Entertainment is doing the most to keep Blackpink together, but the cracks are starting to show. With no new album in sight and an upcoming world tour that feels more confusing than exciting, fans are starting to wonder if YG is losing control. Is the Deadline tour a way to bring Blackpink back to their fans, or an inevitable goodbye hidden behind contract obligations? Let's face it, it's been a long time since we saw all 4 Blackpink members together in a way that truly felt like the group was a unit. For the past years, the girls have been chasing solo success and finding it pretty fast. From record-breaking solo albums to headlining international festivals, it's clear they are thriving individually. And although fans are happy for them, it seems like YG is slowly slipping away in the process. This is something that netizens saw coming, considering rumors about YG mistreating Blackpink have been around for years. Fans witnessed late comebacks, minimal promotions, creative restrictions, and many more problems throughout the years they were actually active as a group. All these issues came to an end in 2023 when the girls' contracts with the label were about to expire. Of course, the world held its breath. Would Blackpink stay with YG or finally walk away for good? What ended up happening was somewhat of a middle ground. The members renewed their group contracts only for Blackpink activities, but chose full independence for everything else. That meant solo labels, solo schedules, and for the first time, full creative control. The moment the girls gained that creative freedom, the results were impossible to ignore. The members immersed themselves in solo projects that not only showcased their individual artistry, but also left Blackpink's entire group discography looking quite bleak. Rosé released Rosie in December 2024, Jisoo followed with Amortage on Valentine's Day 2025, Lisa's alter ego dropped at the end of February 2025, and Jennie's Ruby wrapped things up in early March. These were 4 solo albums released in just under 4 months, something that never happened when Blackpink promoted as a group. As if that wasn't enough, Lisa and Jennie hit the Coachella stage as solo performers in April, while Jisoo and Jennie went on their own small tours, engaging with fans in ways the group hadn't in years. While the group name remained intact on paper, Blackpink as a unit fell silent, and fans couldn't help but notice that every major achievement the members were adding to their resumes had little to do with YG and everything to do with what they could finally do on their own. While Blackpink was busy taking over the world individually, YG Entertainment was quietly falling apart behind the scenes. As each solo release topped charts and lit up global stages, it became clearer that Blackpink doesn't need YG anymore, but YG still desperately needs Blackpink. In early 2025, fans found out just how bad things had gotten. YG had ended 2024 with its first ever operating loss, which meant a full-on collapse in company history. Despite making over $250 million in revenue, they still finished in the red, running over $16 million in operational losses and closing the year with a net deficit of more than $340,000. To put it simply, the moment Blackpink chose independence, YG's financial safety net vanished. Seeing these numbers, it became clearer than ever to fans that YG is nothing without its biggest act, and with the group slipping further away, the company had no choice but to go into emergency mode. And in true YG fashion, they didn't drop a new album or fix what was broken. Instead, they did the one thing guaranteed to bring in fast cash: a world tour. On February 5th, fans were hit with an unexpected teaser for a 2025 world tour, but there were no dates, no cities, not even a proper name. Instead of building hype and excitement, the announcement left fans completely confused. Considering the girls were still fully locked into their solo eras and no comeback was announced, nothing about this tour felt planned. 2 weeks later, on February 19th, YG finally dropped the tour schedule and it was massive. BLACKPINK would open in Goyang on July 5th and 6th, head to North America by late July, hit Paris' Stade de France by August, and wrap things up with a 3-night run at Tokyo Dome in January 2026. A few more dates were added due to high demand, but even that didn't ease the sense that something was off, as it seemed like BLACKPINK had nothing to promote. Although the tour announcement was already concerning in itself, things only got worse over time. The tour is supposed to start in early July, and yet there's been zero sign of actual group preparation. No group rehearsal clips, no setlist teasers, and no behind-the-scenes content. Instead, the girls are still being spotted in different countries, doing their own things, like Rosé casually hanging out in LA. It's hard not to feel like BLACKPINK isn't even in the same time zone, let alone the same room rehearsing. Although there are reports suggesting that the group's production crew has also arrived in LA, where YG holds an office, the lack of official communication from the company has left fans uncertain about what exactly is taking place behind the scenes. For a stadium tour of this scale, the absence of even basic promotional material is highly unusual and has created an atmosphere of skepticism rather than excitement. As if the silence around preparations wasn't unsettling enough, fans were recently handed another red flag, and this one came directly from the members themselves. On March 30th, Jisoo uploaded a behind-the-scenes vlog from her Amartage promotions filled with wholesome clips of fan signings and music show appearances. But it was a surprise moment featuring Rosé that left fans talking for entirely different reasons. Near the end of the video, Rosé drops by to support Jisoo during her second pre-recording for Inkigayo. The two share a sweet interaction until Rosé casually mentions that it's the first time they've seen each other since Christmas. That detail alone was enough to raise eyebrows, especially considering that during that time, the group was supposedly preparing for a world tour just months away. What made things worse was Rosé's reaction when Jisoo asked her to join a quick dance challenge. She hesitates, laughs, and admits that it's been a long time since she last danced. While the moment was played off as lighthearted, it didn't go unnoticed. Fans took to social media almost immediately, circulating clips of the interaction as further proof that preparations for the Deadline tour might still be non-existent or at best dangerously delayed. That said, not everyone is ready to declare this tour a complete disaster before it even begins. While the silence from YG has caused quite some panic, part of the fandom argues that just because things look uncoordinated doesn't mean they actually are. In fact, if you followed BLACKPINK long enough, you'd know that this kind of radio silence isn't new. The girls have always operated behind closed doors, revealing next to nothing until everything is finalized. Even during their solo eras, teasers only dropped when the product was ready, not while it was still being built. And of course, there's also the comparison to the Born Pink tour, which many fans remembered for its rocky first shows, where the group seemed noticeably out of sync. Netizens argue that this time it will be different. Back then, the members had been almost completely inactive. Now, however, they're between back-to-back solo albums, international schedules, and high-profile performances. In other words, the girls have been more publicly active than they've been in years. So while things do feel rushed, especially with no solid group promo in sight, some fans are hopeful that their recent solo practice might actually help them show up more prepared. Just when fans thought things couldn't get more chaotic, YG finally confirmed what had been circulating in rumors for weeks. BLACKPINK will be releasing new music, but instead of a full comeback or long-awaited third album, the announcement left fans even more divided. The label revealed the group will bring out one new song released during the tour on July 5th and 6th at Goyang Main Stadium. YG revealed nothing else. No title, no concept, no release date, just the promise that fans attending the first concerts would hear it live before anyone else. The company argued it would be a meaningful moment, saying it was the perfect symbolic way to reconnect with fans. But for many, it felt more like a last-minute choice rather than a long-awaited comeback, especially when you consider it's been almost 3 years since BLACKPINK's last full album dropped. As tensions continued to rise online, something interesting happened. Lisa spoke up. She recently sent a message to fans saying how excited she was for the upcoming concerts and that the members had been working hard behind the scenes to prepare. On the surface, it seemed like a sweet update, but the timing didn't go unnoticed, and some fans thought it was a little too convenient. Across social media, some began speculating that Lisa's message was less about genuine hype and more about doing damage control. With tweets going viral about fans reselling their tour tickets and growing discussion about a lack of rehearsal, there was a sudden wave of theories that someone at YG noticed the backlash and decided one of the members had to step in and calm things down. Jokingly, but not entirely unseriously, some fans even said Lisa probably lost a game of rock, paper, scissors and got stuck with damage control duty. On the flip side, others rushed to defend her, pointing out that Lisa has always been genuinely engaged with her fans and often drops into fan messages whenever she's excited about her work. They emphasized that she's never been especially online or involved in drama, and probably wouldn't even have seen the discourse unless someone specifically showed it to her. Regardless of Lisa's message, the news of a single new song being performed only intensified the backlash. After nearly 3 years of silence as a group, and amid a stadium tour with no setlist, no concept, and no official group promotions, one unreleased song felt like a strategic move. It played right into the idea that YG has no real interest in giving BLACKPINK a proper comeback and is instead leaning on the bare minimum to generate maximum profit. Why spend time, money, and effort on a full album when one song, unreleased or not, can still sell out stadiums and make quick money? All of this has led to one of the most burning questions in the fandom: why wasn't the tour delayed? If the group wasn't fully ready, if new music wasn't finished, and if the comeback was never going to be a full album to begin with, why didn't YG just push the tour to late 2025 or even early 2026, giving the members time to wrap up their solo schedules and return to group activities with proper preparation? The answer, some speculate, may come down to contract logistics. Depending on the length of BLACKPINK's renewed group agreement, YG could be up against internal deadlines, needing to promote and profit from the group before that extension expires. If that's the case, the deadline tour isn't just a comeback, it's in essence a countdown clock. Moreover, from YG's point of view, delaying the deadline tour wasn't really on the table. These are massive stadium venues with astronomical reservation fees, tight booking calendars, and cancellation clauses that would leave the company with millions in penalties. In North America alone, BLACKPINK's tour dates have to be scheduled around NFL and MLB games, as well as the appearances of other major touring acts. For a company already coming off its first financial loss in years, taking that kind of hit might have been too risky to even consider. Many believe YG overestimated how much time they'd actually have with the members, assuming group promotions would seamlessly fall into place once contracts were renewed. Instead, what they got was a lineup of solo drops, fashion campaigns, overseas performances, and brand deals that continued well into mid-2025, leaving very little space for BLACKPINK to regroup. That miscalculation has turned the entire comeback into a race against the clock, and fans are the ones stuck watching it unfold in real time. With only one new track confirmed and no official album in sight, the setlist for early shows will probably lean heavily on solo performances and Born Pink era hits from nearly 3 years ago. Not everyone sees that as a reason to panic, as for a lot of fans, the music that already exists is more than enough. The idea isn't so much about gambling on unconfirmed releases, but showing up for the group's legacy. Besides, there's still a possibility the girls will perform the new track even before it officially drops. Fans have pointed out plenty of examples across the industry. Jennie performing You and Me long before its drop, TXT performing Blue Spring on tour months ahead of its release, and other artists adjusting setlists mid-tour as new tracks become available. Still, with no full album in sight, a single unreleased track, and a tour built around uncertainty, the deadline era already feels like a mess unfolding in real time. What fans hoped would be BLACKPINK's bold, long-awaited return is starting to resemble a patchwork attempt to hold things together, and it's safe to say fans are over it. Many are calling this entire situation a quick money grab scheme, even going as far as reselling their tickets. Even longtime stans have made themselves clear. They don't want to sit through another show that feels half-baked and quickly thrown together. With memories of the Born Pink tour still fresh, fans are expecting to be disappointed by yet another low-energy, uncoordinated performance. While a lot of the heat has been aimed at YG for what fans see as clear mismanagement and a quick cash strategy, the silence from BLACKPINK themselves is starting to sting too. Netizens are blaming the girls for the lack of effort, no promotion, and little to no communication with fans. After not hearing anything from the group for nearly 3 years, this so-called new era feels like a slap in the face. Fans are starting to question why the group chose to stay tied to a system that's been holding them back for years. They argue that by renewing their contracts with YG, BLACKPINK dug its own grave. And perhaps the most unsettling part of this all is YG's choice to call this tour deadline, possibly revealing more than intended. This tour might not be the beginning of BLACKPINK's next chapter, but the quiet end of their story with YG, and possibly their last hurrah as a group. And YG's struggles were made even more obvious during the group's tour, where fans pointed out a long list of problems. Let's break down everything that went wrong. BLACKPINK's tour has been running for a month now, and every stop has sparked its share of complaints. From wardrobe choices to technical issues and even the shows themselves, fans have had plenty to say about what hasn't been working. Even before the first show, fans were already uneasy, and most of that came down to how poorly YG Entertainment handled things. The tour was announced before any new music was released, which made people worried worry they would just be getting the same set list from 2 years ago with a few solo stages thrown in. This only fueled talk that YG might be strapped for cash and rushing out a tour to make some quick money. So instead of feeling like a carefully planned celebration of BLACKPINK's 9th year, the whole thing came across as something thrown together at the last minute, so by the time the tour actually kicked off, the cracks were already showing. The chaos started right out of the gate. BLACKPINK opened their tour with 2 massive shows at Seoul's Goyang Stadium on July 5th and 6th, drawing more than 78,000 people, including some big-name attendees. While the turnout brought a lot of buzz, the events themselves were messy. Technical problems plagued the first 2 nights, but that wasn't even the worst of it. Videos quickly surfaced online showing fans without valid tickets sneaking into the VIP area, climbing over barriers, and running past security, completely disregarding those who had actually paid for those seats. Things escalated further when one male attendee was caught on camera getting aggressive after being confronted about his behavior. In another clip, a VIP ticket holder could be seen throwing water at the intruders, which stirred mixed reactions as some thought it was justified considering the high ticket prices, while others criticized it as going too far, especially since it likely affected innocent VIP guests too. The crowd trouble didn't just stay in the audience, but it spilled over onto the stage. During moments when the members usually interact with fans between songs, they were forced to stop and address the chaos as people kept pushing into the VIP section. Several times they had to ask everyone to step back for safety. On top of that, someone threw a stuffed toy onto the stage, prompting Lisa to toss it away and firmly remind the audience not to throw things at them while they perform. Things took an even more alarming turn during their New York show. While performing a patu, Rosé walked down the stairs to get closer to fans, but instead of giving her space, some crossed the line completely. They grabbed at her arms and even touched her inappropriately, including on her chest. The incident quickly spread online, leaving many fans furious over how disrespectfully she was treated. One concerned Twitter user wrote, "I think she should pick one lucky fan to go on stage during Apatu instead of this. It's really dangerous." Fans understood that Rosé wanted to create a more personal moment with the crowd, but many felt her safety should come first. They urged her team to put better measures in place to prevent incidents like this or something even worse from happening again. As if the chaos wasn't enough, fans also had to deal with terrible seating issues. Specifically, fans who were seated in the N3 section at the July 5th Goyang Sports Stadium show said they couldn't see a thing because a huge screen had been placed right in front of their seats. They had paid around $100 for tickets, only to spend 2 hours staring at a blocked view. While the ticketing site did include a vague warning about possible obstructions due to structures, attendees said nothing prepared them for a completely blocked stage, leaving many frustrated and feeling misled. Recalling their experience, one Twitter user who was seated in the 3rd row of the section said, "It's not even like they released these seats on restricted view, but it's general ticketing, so I'm really mad at that. Fireworks, drones, everything was obstructed, so I could only see a little bit at the top and nothing else." The backlash was immediate, with many demanding refunds for those stuck in the blocked-off section and questioning why tickets for those seats were even sold in the first place. 2 days later, on July 7th, YG responded with a public apology, explaining that the obstruction was caused by a console installed in front of the section. They added that they had tried to make up for it by extending the LED screens for those fans, but admitted it still caused significant discomfort. YG also promised to prepare follow-up measures for those affected and said further details would be shared through the ticketing site. Another big talking point was Jump, which is a track created just for the tour and notably BLACKPINK's first release in 2 years. Naturally, expectations were through the roof, but when the members finally performed it for the first time during the Seoul shows, the reactions couldn't have been more mixed. Some fans were thrilled just to have new music and even called it one of their best songs yet, while others felt let down, saying that after such a long wait, Jump simply didn't live up to the hype. Comments on online communities said things like, "Who gave BLACKPINK a song like this? It's so bad," and "Wow, so this is the kind of song they get after not renewing their contracts." There was also plenty of buzz around the girls' outfits, especially those worn by Jennie and Lisa. Complaints fell into 2 main groups. Some thought the clothes looked uncomfortable for performing, while others felt they were too short or revealing. Lisa's stage outfits in particular caught the most attention, often featuring shorts and miniskirts, tight bodysuits, and pieces with cuts that some found too daring. While many praised her style and agreed she looked stunning, others weren't shy about calling the outfits inappropriate and even embarrassing. Comments on Korean forums said things like, "Isn't that too too short, as well as "that's really cool, but Koreans might see this as a little embarrassing." Another moment that blew up online happened during the LA show as Jennie caught everyone's eye when she glanced at the camera, unzipped her jacket just a bit, and flashed a quick playful peek of her chest before stepping away. The clip quickly spread across social media and forums, sparking a wave of reactions. Some criticized her, saying she was too old for that kind of move, and even calling her auntie in harsh comments. Others accused her of trying to imitate Western celebrities, calling the gesture over the top and saying it didn't suit her. They claimed that if other K-pop idols did something similar, it might look cool, but for Jennie, it came off as cheap and forced. A few even threatened to quit the fandom over it. Meanwhile, many fans loved the moment and stood up to defend her. One user wondered, when is the misogynistic harassment of Jennie going to stop? This has been going on for almost 10 years. People also noticed something important. When male idols go shirtless on stage, they rarely face this kind of backlash. No one questions their age, calls them cheap, or accuses them of seeking attention or boosting sales. What Jennie faced wasn't fair criticism, it was mostly unfair hatred rooted in outdated ideas about how women should act and dress. This reaction was more about prejudice than anything reasonable. Not all the outfit complaints were about how much skin was shown. Some fans felt the stylist didn't put enough effort into some of Rosé's looks, making it seem cheap. One example was her outfit at the second Seoul show, which was a simple black short dress with a white corset on top. The issue wasn't the dress itself, but the corset. People noticed it looked worn out, with wires sticking out, which probably made it uncomfortable to wear and especially perform in. Some also thought the whole look was dull because she had no accessories to add flair. This led to criticism of the styling choices overall, with more fans joining in to say they weren't happy with how Rosé was dressed throughout the tour. Still, compared to other issues the members faced, this didn't seem like the biggest concern. Another issue that stirred up complaints among fans involved Jennie's behavior toward staff members during the Seoul show. To give some background, while BLACKPINK was performing Forever Young, Jennie experienced a problem with her shoe and stepped to the side of the stage so a staff member could fix it. She continued singing throughout the process, and the other members quickly came over to check on her and help handle the situation together. However, the moment that went viral wasn't about the shoe mishap itself, but focused on Jennie's interaction with the staff member before her bandmates arrived. In the clip capturing this incident, Jennie is seen giving instructions to the staff, having to raise her voice to be heard over the loud music. Many people interpreted this as her being rude and overly demanding, accusing her of yelling at the staff in a way that seemed harsh and disrespectful, which sparked intense backlash and heated discussions online. One Twitter user said, "If you don't like how they do it yourself. There's no need to yell at them." People also pointed out that the situation with Jennie was taken out of context to make her look worse than she really was. If you watch closely, she's actually smiling throughout the whole exchange, showing she wasn't angry but just trying to be urgent. She had to raise her voice mainly because the speakers were loud and the staff member was wearing headphones, so normal talking wouldn't have worked. Plus, Jennie even tried to fix the shoe herself before the staff stepped in to assist, which shows she wasn't just ordering people around but genuinely trying to solve the problem before she had to sing her part. As a TikTok user said, "Our job as dressers is to take care of any wardrobe malfunction so the artist doesn't have to stress about it and can carry on doing their actual job. Of course, they'll come to us for any issue." The main issue that has dominated discussions among fans and observers is undoubtedly the quality of the performances the members have delivered each night, with the general consensus leaning heavily toward disappointment. BLACKPINK has faced criticism in the past for what many have described as lazy performances, pointing out an apparent lack of energy and poor coordination during their shows. Unfortunately, this same pattern of criticism has persisted throughout the entire Deadline tour, starting from the very first concert. Despite having years to rehearse and prepare, many viewers claimed that the group's movements were uncoordinated and their energy levels seemed far below what fans expected, to the point where some felt it no longer resembled the BLACKPINK they admired. This negative feedback followed them through most of the tour dates. For example, their performance of Jump in Los Angeles received significant backlash, with critics saying the members appeared out of sync, with some of them putting in too much effort while others seemed to hold back, and that only Jisoo looked like she was truly enjoying the stage. However, even Jisoo wasn't immune to criticism, as a viral clip surfaced showing her struggling to lip sync during her part of the song, which left many fans puzzled and concerned as they watched her stumble over a track that is part of the group's own discography. Unsurprisingly, Jennie faced the harshest criticism for her performances during the tour. She has long been under the spotlight for such issues, but recent concert clips reignited debates as fans noticed her skipping parts of the choreography or standing still while the rest of the group kept moving. Among the complaints were that she often shouted at the audience instead of singing during some songs, appeared lazy on stage, lacked energy, and seemed to always have problems while performing. 3 moments stood out in particular. The first was when firework dust got into her eye and she was seen holding it while dancing, dancing, which is a natural reaction, but many comments twisted it, saying things like, "I don't know, something always has to happen to her," and why there's something wrong every time she performs, as if she was proving her critics right. The second moment came during the group's performance of Flower Jisoo's solo track, when Jennie danced the backup dancer's choreography instead of the usual routine. Whether fans were unaware or felt she did it intentionally, accusations flew that she was rage-baiting and not putting real effort into her performance. However, the most talked about incident was during their hit Do 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 Do, when Jennie suddenly stopped performing for a few minutes as she fumbled with something on the side of her shorts. This sparked strong backlash online, with many calling her lazy and unprofessional, accusing her of wasting the money fans spent on tickets. One user wrote, "What is she resting from? Breathing? Girl is a selectively active idol." People also noted that Jennie was dealing with some technical problems during the show as her in-ear monitor fell out, and even her mic pack came loose, which forced her to pause for a few moments to fix everything before her next part. While it's true that the tour has faced numerous challenges, both with technical glitches and performance issues, there's a big difference between fair criticism and unfairly tearing the members apart. Editing clips to twist moments out of context and turning them into something they're not crosses a line, turning genuine artists into caricatures that don't reflect who they really are. But the stage wasn't the only place people noticed tension. Offstage, many started to wonder if the members themselves were as close as they seemed. After years of shining on stage side by side, BLACKPINK has always been seen as a group of best friends who followed their dreams together. But lately, some fans can't help but feel that things have started to shift. With solo careers taking off and other responsibilities piling up, it's starting to look like their friendship may no longer be the priority it once was. One of the most common theories among netizens, even among longtime fans, is that BLACKPINK now gives off the energy of coworkers rather than close friends. They're still clearly respectful with each other and on good terms, but some fans say that the natural chemistry they once showed just isn't as obvious anymore. The idea that they've grown apart isn't new, but recently it's gained a lot more attention, especially when people started noticing how the girls interact during each other's solo releases. And Lisa in particular has been right at the center of that conversation. When Rosé came out with Rosé, Jennie immediately took to Instagram to show her support, doing way more than just reposting her album. She wrote a sweet message calling her Rosy Posy, talked about how proud she was, and said she couldn't wait to hear her beautiful voice. It felt personal, exciting, and super supportive. Around the same time, Rosé was also spotted dropping cute comments under Jennie's mantra teaser, showing love with emojis and hyping her up in front of fans. Jisoo gave the girls the same energy. Every time one of the girls drops something new, she's usually one of the first to like, comment, or post something about it. Fans have even claimed she's the most consistent one when it comes to publicly backing her girls, and she rarely misses a moment. Lisa, on the other hand, was attacked by tons of fans for being too quiet when it comes to publicly supporting the other members with their solo ventures back in 2024. Some fans argued that Lisa didn't really say or post much about any of the other members' solo activities. No Instagram story about Jennie's single, no comment under Rosé's announcement, no hype for Jisoo's solo debut either. While the other three girls were supporting each other left, right, and center, netizens accused Lisa of staying completely silent about it all. People started pointing out how this apparently wasn't just a one-time thing. Over the last few comebacks and projects, they claimed Lisa was the least supportive. It got to the point where fans were wondering if Lisa just didn't want to be involved in group-related stuff anymore. Others blamed her alleged lack of care on her new rumored relationship with Frédéric Arnault. Lisa was recently photographed vacationing in Sicily with Arnault, the CEO of luxury watch brand Tag Heuer and heir to the LVMH empire. The two were seen out in the open, enjoying a seaside date with no attempt to stay hidden, just casually spending time together. It wasn't the first time they'd been linked, as rumors have been going around since 2023. Some fans felt the change in her public behavior was noticeable after the dating rumors emerged, pointing out how different she seemed compared to the earlier years of BLACKPINK, when her bond with the members appeared to be much more important. Her growing involvement in elite social circles had some wondering if she was slowly pulling away from the group image and carving out a space that didn't include the others. Of course, there were also fans defending Lisa, arguing that she has not been unsupportive and that her dynamic with the fellow members is still the same. Some said maybe she was just too busy or that she didn't really enjoy posting much. Others believed her social media might have been run by her PR team, so it wasn't fully in her own control. Moreover, netizens highlighted that she could have been showing support privately, which is something the public wouldn't necessarily see. That's why her post of October 11th, 2024 felt like a direct response to all the criticism. Lisa finally broke her silence by posting an Instagram story congratulating Jennie on her single mantra. The message was playful, full of emojis, and clearly supportive, a lighthearted but direct way of showing she was paying paying attention all along. During a live stream later that evening, Jennie even shared that Lisa had also reached out behind the scenes to compliment her choreography, and she was clearly over the moon. It wasn't just a cute comment, it felt like Lisa's way of quietly shutting down the claims that she didn't support her members. Over the past few years, it's not just Lisa who's been catching strays, because even Rosé has unexpectedly found herself in the middle of backlash. During a recent interview, she was asked to associate words with different letters of the alphabet. When the letter B came up, instead of saying BLACKPINK or even Blinks, Rosé casually responded with Bruno, referencing her collaboration with Bruno Mars. While this might seem like a harmless comment, the moment didn't sit right with a lot of fans. Considering she's been part of BLACKPINK for over a decade, many expected that her first thought would be her group or the fandom that supported her from the start. Instead, fans were taken aback, with some even calling it tone-deaf and ungrateful. A few netizens went as far as to say it felt like confirmation that BLACKPINK as a brand owes more to business deals, massive marketing pushes, and celebrity collaborations than to a strong, loyal fandom. That comment likely stung for a lot of Blinks, who have spent years defending the group through every hiatus, controversy, and comeback drought. Now, those same fans are probably questioning whether that energy was ever really appreciated. But at this point, it's not just about the solo careers or social media silence. Netizens like to overanalyze anything, including tension between the members during their promotions. One of the most talked about examples involved Rosé and Lisa, whose dynamic seemed noticeably off while they were on tour 2 years ago. Instead of their usual energy and interaction on stage, fans saw the two keeping their distance, avoiding eye contact, and in some clips, straight up ignoring each other. Videos from the shows quickly made headlines online, showing Lisa and Rosé standing far apart during group moments where they normally would have been side by side. Of course, no one knows exactly what might have happened behind the scenes, but to many viewers, the body language spoke volumes. Netizens began speculating that the two had gotten into some kind of disagreement or fight during the tour, and that it was affecting their performance chemistry. Still, just because there have been awkward moments or distant interactions, that doesn't mean the group is automatically falling apart. Even close friends have off days, and the same goes for BLACKPINK. After all the rumors about Rosé and Lisa possibly fighting, some fans pointed out that the girls were later seen going out to breakfast together as a full group. At their next concert, they looked completely fine on stage, smiling, interacting normally, and doing what they've always done. The truth is, people argue even if they've been friends for years. It's not unusual for close friends, especially those working under pressure, traveling constantly, and performing in front of thousands, to have a disagreement or two. It doesn't mean their dynamic is ruined forever. Some fans have also pushed back on the nonstop overanalyzing, saying the real issue is how every tiny detail gets turned into a headline. Whether it's someone standing 2 feet apart instead of one, not holding hands on stage, or being a little quiet during a concert, people are quick to assume the worst. But while some fans are trying to keep things in perspective, others have taken the situation in a completely different direction, with full-blown theories about BLACKPINK secretly hating each other. One of the most common claims is that the reason they all signed with separate solo companies is because they wanted nothing more to do with one another, and that if it weren't for YG Entertainment stepping in, BLACKPINK would have already been over. Some fans even believe the members were forced to renew the group activities part of their contract, not because they wanted to stay together, but because YG allegedly threatened them with losing the rights to their group name, trademarks, and even their songs if they walked away completely. And then there's the theory that the members never really got along in the first place. According to these fans, BLACKPINK was always more of a business arrangement than a true friendship. The group was created to be a high-performing team made up of individuals who were more focused on their own success than any deep emotional connection. The fact that all four are now building their own management companies without overlapping in any real way is being used as proof that they've chosen to keep things strictly professional moving forward. But let's be honest, a lot of this is starting to feel a bit far-fetched. The idea that BLACKPINK secretly hates each other, that they're only performing together because of legal threats, or that they were never friends to begin with is a bit dramatic, and there's little to back it up. Most of these theories are built on things that aren't happening, like not posting together, not hanging out in public, or not being seen on each other's social media. But does that really prove anything? In reality, BLACKPINK's dynamic has always been a little more private than other K-pop groups. They've never been the type to constantly show off their closeness online, and expecting them to spend every free second together or document every interaction just isn't realistic. They're four adults with separate careers, lives, and circles, so that doesn't automatically mean there's tension behind the scenes. Their documentary showed a very different side of them, one where they clearly care about each other, lean on one another, and express gratitude for the group's journey. Not to mention, we've seen the members promote each other's solo work plenty of times, even if it's not always super public. A lot of the drama actually seems to come from solo stans who constantly pit the girls against each other and fuel this idea that there's jealousy or competition within the group. But that energy often comes more from the fandom than the members themselves. People forget that they're independent artists who don't need to perform closeness 24/7 to prove that they care about each other. Just because fans aren't seeing content of the girls together all the time doesn't mean it's not happening, and assuming they've fallen apart just because it's not public is a reach. What many people seem to forget is that BLACKPINK didn't just come together out of nowhere. These girls have known each other since their trainee days. They lived together, trained side by side, and spent years building a real connection. Their bond wasn't formed overnight, and it definitely isn't something social media posts can fully capture. In fact, Jisoo addressed the rumors directly during her appearance on My Alcohol Diary. When asked if the members ever had problems with each other, a question that's clearly been fueled by the non-stop speculation, she simply laughed it off. She explained that the girls actually joke about the rumors among themselves, saying things like, "They say that I'm your competition, so be careful." Instead of letting it affect them, they find humor in how fans twist the smallest things into drama. As Jisoo joked, they even tease each other with lines like, "Hey, why didn't you post it on Instagram? It made a rumor. You should have promoted my album." All with laughter and zero hard feelings. Even Lisa, who has caught her fair share of criticism, spoke up about her relationship with the members during an interview. She used the moment to reflect on how far they've come as a group since debuting together in 2016. Lisa made it clear that despite each member working on solo projects, the connection between them hasn't faded. She shared that they still talk regularly, support each other's work, and treat each other like family. Whether it's texting, FaceTiming, or cheering each other on behind the scenes, the bond is very much alive, just not always on display for everyone to analyze. Lisa also mentioned how proud she was of Jennie and Rosé's recent releases, and explained that solo work was something they all had dreamed of doing for a long time. And now that they've grown, both as artists and individuals, there's simply more space for flexibility and independence. That doesn't mean they've drifted apart, it just means they're evolving. While fans have wondered about the group's dynamics, Rosé has been quietly carving out her own path, redefining what her career could look like beyond the group. In less than a year after leaving her label and with just 2 songs under her belt for now, BLACKPINK's Rosé has surpassed expectations, proving that the Instagram model label given to her was far from accurate. But how exactly did she become one of Korea's most successful soloists? Once it was announced that the BLACKPINK members had terminated their individual contracts with YG Entertainment, the entire world was curious to see what the members would do. Lisa and Jennie were the first ones to take steps by establishing their own labels, and then Jisoo partnered with her brother's company to create her own agency called BLACKPINK. It took a while before we heard anything from Rosé after she left YG, and that felt a little suspicious. Even non-fans were aware that Rosé was an idol who absolutely loved music and performing, so her silence made fans wonder what she was up to. 6 months later, it was announced that she had signed with the Black label, a YG affiliate, and 2 months after that, she signed with Atlantic Records. However, the public was mostly left puzzled about why she would sign with the Black label after what she had gone through in YG. Because of this, critics jumped at the chance to claim it was proof she wasn't interested in staying active as an artist. They argued she chose a company known for its inconsistent comebacks, which apparently suggested she wanted an easier schedule to focus on non-idol pursuits. Some accused her of avoiding challenges and sticking to her comfort zone, fueling the narrative that BLACKPINK members preferred modeling over making music. However, what many overlooked was how BLACKPINK used their opportunities wisely. Even while attending high-profile events, they weren't just enjoying the spotlight, they were networking. Rosé in particular formed tons of connections with producers and artists during these moments, relationships she's now leveraging in her solo work. Though people doubted her motivations, her decisions show a strategy that goes beyond appearances, proving her commitment to building a lasting music career in her own way. In addition to building connections on these fashion shows, Rosé also serves some memorable looks, which you can now recreate at an affordable price thanks to fashionchingu.com. Browse through Rosé's or any other idol's fashionable wardrobe in just a few clicks and find stylish pieces without the hefty price tag they probably paid. Whether you want a chic everyday outfit or something bold for a special occasion, Fashion Chingu has all your style needs covered at affordable prices. And here's the exciting news. From November 25th to 30th, Fashion Chingu is giving you a 25% discount on everything as part of their Black Week event. Take advantage of this great deal and score your favorite items at a much lower price. As you may know, Rosé's first single after joining the Black label was APT in collaboration with none other than Bruno Mars. According to Rosé, when she signed with Atlantic Records in September of this year, she found out that he was under the same label and reached out to him. In response, Bruno asked her if she could pitch him 3 songs, so she sent APT, which then turned out to be a huge hit immediately after release, proving just how much star power she has. With APT, Rosé not only topped charts domestically and globally, including Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Tencent's QQ Music, but also set a Spotify record for most monthly listeners by a K-pop artist. The song also gave Bruno Mars his biggest debut on the Spotify global chart, so if anyone tells you that the success of the song is thanks to him alone, don't believe it so easily. Bruno Mars isn't the only music legend that Rosé is working with in this new chapter in her career. Rosé's upcoming album, Rosie, will feature Dance All Night, co-composed by her and Greg Kurstin, who's also credited as a writer. Fans are thrilled, as Kurstin's track record includes hits like Adele's Hello and Easy on Me, Sia's Chandelier, and Kelly Clarkson's Stronger. Collaborating with such a renowned producer has raised excitement, making this song one of the album's most anticipated highlights. As reported, Rosé apparently met Kurstin at a fashion after-party in Paris and then straight up asked him to work together on music with her. Rosé is also teaming up with Amy Allen, known for hits like Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso and Ariana Grande's Greedy, and Michael Pollack, who's written for Beyoncé, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, and more. She's reportedly so close to them that she affectionately calls them mom and dad. This just highlights her dedication and passion for crafting quality music and building strong relationships with top talents in the industry. What's more, her debut solo album includes 12 tracks, matching what took BLACKPINK 3 years to achieve, with an additional 3 songs featured in the deluxe edition. Over the past year, Rosé began shaping her album while staying in Los Angeles after BLACKPINK's Born Pink World Tour wrapped up. She rented an Airbnb to focus on creating music, splitting her time between there and her hotel. Reports also suggest that Rosé even booked recording sessions at this time. According to her interview with ID magazine, working independently, away from K-pop's rigid systems, helped her reconnect with her passion and overcome the challenges she faced after the tour, giving her a fresh creative perspective. She said, "The album process was very therapeutic. It was the only place I felt sane. That's why I did it for a year. I felt like I was being held by mom or something." After the interview, many criticized YG for not providing Rosé with the resources she needed to create music, especially since she had to rent an Airbnb and book sessions herself. However, it also highlighted her determination because even the bad management of her previous company couldn't stop her from doing what she loves most, making music and proving her passion and drive despite the obstacles. The album is also seemingly very personal, which fans were surprised by, to say the least. According to some interviews that Rosé did, through these songs, she will discuss her previous toxic relationship, which is also something revolutionary for K-pop idols. While idol groups often sing about love and heartbreak, Rosé takes a deeper, more personal approach in her album, openly reflecting on her past relationship and challenging the belief that K-pop idols don't date. While this might not seem like a big deal to some, it's important to remember that for a long time, BLACKPINK didn't have the freedom to include personal touches in their music or express themselves creatively. However, thankfully things are changing, as Rosé is now opening up and using her music to share her true feelings, allowing her fans to see a side of her beyond the pop star image. This shift is a refreshing change, giving her the chance to connect with her audience on a deeper level. As for the album itself, it has been said that it blends intimate storytelling with powerful emotional hooks. According to the Paper magazine interview, Rosie tells a story of love gone wrong, the missed signs, dark 3 a.m. moments, and a toxic relationship that lingers until the end, capturing raw, cathartic emotions throughout. Fans are excited by the snippets and song titles they've heard, eager to see how Rosé expresses her experiences through music. For example, in an Instagram livestream she did recently, she shared a snippet of one of her few songs titled Toxic Till the End, with some of the lyrics going, "When you met my friends, you didn't even try with them. I shut them out and then you didn't trust them. Possessive, so manipulating." While she hasn't revealed who this evil person is, in the Paper magazine interview, she delved deeper into this topic, revealing that she had a few unhealthy relationships in her life, which is something that many girls in their early 20s can relate to. She also mentioned that her music isn't just about unhealthy romantic relationships, but about any toxic connection with someone, making it relatable to anyone who's dealt with negativity in their life. Speaking more about her album, Rosé said she wanted her music to reflect the struggles many face in their 20s, describing this period as a time of vulnerability, confusion, and intense emotions. She revealed herself that in Rosie, she focuses on themes of betrayal and manipulation, capturing the challenges and chaos of the terrible 20s. So even before the release of her first solo album, Rosé had already silenced her critics and broken through the negative stereotypes about her. Many people criticized her for not having enough music, accusing her and BLACKPINK of lacking passion. Yet she's about to drop a 12-track album as her solo debut, proving them wrong. Others claimed the BLACKPINK members weren't hands-on with their music, but Rosé is listed as both a writer and producer for every single song on her album. There were also complaints about the group repeating the same sound in every release, but Rosé's upcoming album promises to break that mold. Based on what we have heard so far, she's bringing a mix of genres, showing that she's ready to experiment and push creative boundaries. With this album, Rosé shows she's in charge of her career, finally doing what she's likely dreamed of for years. She's redefining her story, challenging the false narratives built around her career, and proving critics wrong every step of the way. Rosé is also taking charge of her promotions like never before, surpassing anything YG ever did for her. She's already made waves internationally, giving interviews with Paper Magazine and ID Magazine, doing BuzzFeed's Puppy interview, and appearing on the viral show Hot Ones. Her efforts aren't limited to global audiences, though. Rosé is also focusing on Korean promotions, appearing on Quiz on the Block, and joining Big Bang's Daesung on his YouTube talk show Zip Daesung. Although Rosé only started her solo career about a month ago, she's already proven that she actually never lacked in anything as an artist except for good management. Her vision and talents have always been there, but she was mostly held back by the same company that should have nurtured her potential. Despite this, Rosé still found ways to build connections, friendships, and networks through various non-music events, relationships that have now become a vital part of her solo journey. Considering all this, everyone can agree that leaving YG and taking control of her career has been the best decision for her, as it's allowed her to fully express herself as an artist. We are eager to see what she will do next, as it's very clear that Rosé has many exciting projects ahead. Her journey is just beginning, and we can't wait for more. And she isn't the only one stepping into a new era. Jisoo also took bold steps to build her life and career beyond BLACKPINK. Jisoo, known as the big sister of BLACKPINK and a style icon in her own right, has been meticulously planning her future projects ever since the group took a well-deserved break. With the past few years already having been such lucrative years for her, it only comes as good news that 2025 looks to be setting up even bigger and better things. Jisoo's journey since BLACKPINK's record-breaking Born Pink World Tour has been nothing short of impressive, as she is currently doing her best to blend her passions for music, acting, and fashion, which have kept fans eagerly anticipating every new chapter. During BLACKPINK's hiatus, Jisoo heavily shifted her focus from group activities to establishing herself as a solo artist and actress. Things started to change for Jisoo and the rest of the girls when they didn't renew their solo contracts with YG Entertainment, leaving room for the group to focus on their individual careers. On January 28th, Jisoo announced she had signed a global deal with American Warner Records for her solo music, which gave fans hope of a blossoming career for Jisoo. But while this might feel like an entirely new project, Jisoo has announced that she is happy to bring her blinks with her on this journey and thanked everyone for their love and support. According to her, this is just the beginning of her big career, and she is more than happy to keep sharing it with her beloved blinks. Her newly released album Amortage is the very first project alongside her new company, and its record-breaking numbers already say plenty about how well the partnership is going. This comes after her first solo releases back in 2023, which included Flower and All Eyes on Me, making Amortage the perfect follow-up to her musical career. Fortunately, it's going to be way easier for fans to stay connected to Jisoo from all around the world thanks to CyberGhost VPN. If you're ever tired of geo restrictions blocking the content you want to watch, with CyberGhost VPN, you can stream exclusive Korean variety shows, interviews, and performances no matter where you are. Say goodbye to region locks and hello to unlimited access with ultra-fast servers in 100 countries worldwide. But CyberGhost VPN isn't just for streaming. Without a VPN, your internet activity is exposed. Your ISP, hackers, advertisers, and even the government can monitor your online movements. Public Wi-Fi is especially risky, leaving your passwords, usernames, and financial transactions vulnerable to cybercriminals. This is where CyberGhost comes in, as it encrypts your online traffic and hides your real IP address, keeping your data safe whether you're streaming, gaming, shopping, or banking. No tracking, no snooping, just complete online privacy. With CyberGhost VPN, you also get unlimited bandwidth and lightning-fast speed, so you'll never have to deal with buffering or slow connections again. Whether you're binge-watching K-dramas or variety shows, video calling friends, or downloading large files, CyberGhost ensures a seamless experience. Trusted by 38 million users and backed by 21,000 Trustpilot reviews, CyberGhost VPN offers top-tier security with an easy-to-use interface. The best thing is that one subscription covers up to 7 devices across Windows, macOS, Android, Android, iOS, and more, even smart TVs and gaming consoles. Don't let restrictions or prying eyes control your internet experience. Visit www.cyberghostvpn.com today to unlock true online freedom and stay protected wherever you go. Just a few years back, Jisoo was initially very hesitant to embark on her own projects without the group, especially since she explained that she didn't really feel like she knew what her identity was at the time. She explained her thoughts saying, "I love different bands and rock music. What do people want from me? There's a chaos of conflicting questions, so I'm still tilting my head in confusion. I'm not sure what will happen with my solo plans." However, 3 years later, it looks like things have finally become clearer for her, as she has been more than excited to share something from the heart with all her fans who have patiently been waiting for more since BLACKPINK's break went into effect. She first hinted at the tone of her brand new solo era back in January, dropping a mysterious teaser that left fans buzzing with anticipation. The small teaser showed a polygraph machine alongside its Valentine's Day release date. This not only confirmed the music project, but also proved to fans that Jisoo wishes to reinvent her image outside of what we know from BLACKPINK in a similar fashion as the group's other members, who have each gone down a brand new path. When Jisoo started teasing the premise of the project, it was labeled as a montage of love, and now that fans can finally enjoy the songs, it's certainly not an understatement, as Jisoo's love for music and her fans shine through every second of it. It's safe to say that people have enjoyed seeing Jisoo finally be able to put her heart and soul into a full project, especially because of all the possibilities of self-expression that have come with it. Comparing this new era to previous BLACKPINK eras, it's clear that Jisoo has a lot more creative control. However, while fans are greatly enjoying the new mini album and all the content that has come with it, many are also anticipating other intriguing things in Jisoo's career. We, of course, can't forget about her acting roles that have truly taken center stage in her career lately. After her debut on the small screen with the hit K-drama Snowdrop, she has recently had another hit release with Kpop Play's zombie romance drama Newtopia. The currently airing K-drama is the perfect blend of dark humor and heartfelt emotions that allows fans to see previously undiscovered sides of Jisoo. Seeing the success the drama is having so far, many are already anticipating many more acting roles in her future. However, Newtopia isn't the only exciting project unfolding at the moment, as fans are patiently waiting for Jisoo to make her big screen debut in the film adaptation of the popular Korean web novel Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, which finished filming last year. In this highly anticipated movie, she stars alongside top actors like Lee Min-ho and Ahn Hyosop, and the film is expected to attract attention not only from K-drama enthusiasts, but also from a global audience with its very promising cast list and premise. Reports have revealed that Jisoo has been fully immersed in her role throughout the filming, spending months on set and engaging deeply with the film's creative process, which might prove to truly deepen her acting skills. As of yet, we haven't quite gotten any proper promotion for the movie. However, there will surely be a lot of upcoming content of the cast and Jisoo closer to the still undisclosed release date. And with such a high-level cast in the production, there's no doubt that the movie will be a success, something which is already starting to look extremely promising for Jisoo's career. But despite her many endeavors, it looks like Jisoo isn't satisfied with her roles in film and music, as she has decided to take things one step further by delving into entrepreneurship. Last year, she announced the start of her own independent agency, Blissoo, a venture that she is launching together with her brother Kim Jong-hoon. This looks to be a move to ensure herself full control of her creative output, which definitely means we could be seeing a lot more exciting projects in Jisoo's future. In a heartfelt message, Jisoo introduced Blissoo to the world, expressing genuine excitement for this new chapter, as she urged fans to continue their support not just for her, but for the entire BLACKPINK legacy as she takes this new step in her career. Blissoo is already making major moves by recruiting key personnel and important staff, and it seems like the initial focus of the company is going to be on strengthening her acting career, particularly with the upcoming Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, which has become one of her primary projects. This means we are possibly getting an entirely new way of promoting Jisoo's role, which will greatly differ from the way idol actors are usually marketed through their entertainment companies. Seeing as Jisoo was determined to make a name for herself in the industry and now has the support of her very own company, promotions could be like nothing we've ever seen before. Fortunately, while juggling all these new ventures, Jisoo has not forgotten how to balance her dual roles as both a singer and an actress. Recently, after wrapping up filming for both Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint and Newtopia, she opened up about the differences she feels between her acting and her music career. According to her, the energy of both is very different. However, both involve immense time and dedication. In fact, one of her biggest concerns when it comes to her acting roles is making sure the scripts she receives are strong enough. She makes a point to discuss it with the director to ensure that everybody can share a view of what the project is going to be like, which shows exactly how committed and how strong of a leader Jisoo likes to be. Looking ahead, Jisoo has also been candid about the challenges that come with managing multiple career paths, as she was quoted saying, "There's so much I need to look into and decide one by one. It's difficult, but also enjoyable." However, despite how much there is to keep track of, she has made sure to express her optimism and share how ready she is for any task that may come her way. According to her, spending hours on set naturally makes her feel more connected to a project and deepens her affection towards all her roles, which makes everything seem like less of a chore and more of a joy. This is something that she hopes the audience watching her will be able to feel, as she hopes to not only resonate with her fans, but also touch new audiences with whom she can prove her growth. With the way things are going, it's hard to see Jisoo ever return to the old way of doing things, as her entrepreneurial skills and love for taking control have proven to the world just how versatile Jisoo is beyond her contract with YG Entertainment. Fans have, of course, embraced her new direction, with social media constantly being there to lift her up with enthusiastic and heartfelt messages as Jisoo continues to pursue her dream. In fact, everything Jisoo seems to do lately looks to be reaching all kinds of audiences, already giving her a global reach if her recent social media numbers are anything to go by. Even just her personality has been able to intrigue people online, as one interview recently went viral with Jisoo giving some quite hilarious answers to questions such as claiming that Disgust from Inside Out is her favorite character from the movie. Her responses were so intriguing that even non-fans tuned into them, many asking who she was or commenting, "Every quote I see from this girl is comedy gold." However, despite this new reach, Jisoo has stayed true to herself so far, as she has made it clear that her projects all currently come from the heart, and she is excited to share more of herself with her fans who have been alongside her all along. Even as she navigates these new challenges in solo music and acting, she continues to prioritize authenticity and creative freedom, which is why so many see her not just as an idol, but as a role model. Meanwhile, Lisa continues her solo path, showing just how much effort it takes to grow individually after thriving as part of a global sensation. BLACKPINK's Lisa is undeniably one of the most influential idols in K-pop, yet her solo career has been anything but smooth, as several setbacks have left fans questioning what exactly went wrong. Lisa's solo journey officially kicked off in 2021 with the release of Lalisa, which was a highly anticipated debut that fans had expected to take the industry by storm. However, while the title track did well commercially, the overall promotional effort left much to be desired, as fans were ultimately disappointed with the rollout of her solo. Many fans felt that Lisa's solo debut was rushed, with YG Entertainment failing to give her the same level of support seen in other BLACKPINK members' solo debuts, leading many to question whether her solo career would be as successful as other BLACKPINK members. At the time, many disappointed fans pointed out the lack of proper marketing, as she received very limited performances and even missed many opportunities that could have elevated the project, like sending her on interviews or variety shows. Instead of a solo debut fans could be proud of, her company left them with comments such as, "Part of me is thinking that YG blew all their budget on the music video, resulting in less funds for other marketing activities." Some couldn't help but compare her rollout to Jennie's solo, which was extensively promoted with a strong push from the company, while Lisa's debut felt almost like an afterthought despite her massive international fan base. Fortunately, both fans and Lisa managed to push through the tough times, as it ultimately became a project to be proud of, leading Lisa to proceed with her next project, Rockstar. After her long-awaited return started with the Rockstar single on June 27, 2024, many hoped that this time things would be different. Lisa had now started her very own label, Loud, and it seemed like things would finally be looking brighter for her, as fans hoped she would have more creative freedom and control over her career. However, despite the excitement leading up to the release, Rockstar was met with mixed reactions. Seeing the release, fans generally praised Lisa's stage presence and confidence in the song, but the track itself didn't appear to be to everyone's taste. Some felt it lacked impact, while others thought it didn't showcase her full potential. As netizens wrote, "Lisa is amazing, but the song isn't really my style. And it's better than Lalisa, but I still feel like she could bring something like Money again." While the album did manage to chart globally in top 100 and top 200 spots, it didn't become the viral hit that some had expected, which is why fans turned on her company yet again, with more complaints. Fans quickly came to the conclusion that this was another case of a lack of promotional promotional period, as fans pointed out that Lisa should have been heavily promoting the song from day one. Now that she established We Are Loud, why is it happening all over again with Rockstar? This is extremely disappointing. Some netizens pointed out that without dance challenges or viral moments, the song struggled to stay relevant. Many felt that while non-fans initially checked out the release, there was nothing to keep them engaged with Lisa afterward due to the lack of ongoing promotions. But the frustrations didn't stop there, as the handling of Lisa's solo projects took another massive hit when her debut album, Alter Ego, leaked just days before its scheduled release in February of this year. Fans were heartbroken to see all the hard work that had been put into the album exposed early, especially when Lisa herself admitted during a live stream that the leak had deeply affected her as she had worked on the album for over a year. Seeing this, fans took to doing their best to support her, refusing to listen to the leaked material and encouraging others to wait for the official release, as comment sections were flooded with empathetic words such as, "I feel so bad for her. She worked so hard." However, what made matters worse was the speculation that RCA Records, the label partnered with Lisa's company Loud, may have played a role in what happened. Some fans had noticed that physical copies of Alter Ego had already been spotted in stores before the official release date, and seeing as products were released early, it would be easy for anyone to get a hold of them and leak the album. This sparked a massive wave of criticism towards RCA Records for not protecting their artist with their mismanagement. Lisa's company Loud later released a statement addressing the issue, expressing their disappointment over the leak and assuring fans that they were working with RCA to take appropriate action. But while the response acknowledged the problem fans had been raising, not many felt reassured by their words, as many fans had already long been feeling like Lisa had been let down at every turn. To make matters worse, if the Rockstar era was concerning, the rollout of her album, Alter Ego, was even more alarming. When the album officially dropped on February 28th of this year, many fans were left in disbelief when reports surfaced that the album had sold just about 30,500 copies on its first day, a massive drop compared to her debut album, Lisa, which had sold over 330,000 copies in the same time frame. Given the fact that Lisa has only grown in popularity as a solo artist, many expected her sales to increase, not decline, and it came as a massive shock to them to see just how much the number had fallen. Naturally, this sparked intense discussion among fans, as many started speculating that the lower numbers were due to changes in distribution since Lisa was no longer under YG Entertainment. This time, her album sales were primarily reported through her own Loud by RCA Records platform rather than traditional K-pop stores that contribute to Hanteo chart figures. This led some fans to suspect that the actual number of purchases wasn't reflected in the official count, as her private sales perhaps never reached the charts. Still, others saw the extreme drop as a worrying sign, as many commented that something wasn't right. It was suggested that the actual solo releases could be at fault here, as they ultimately lacked the appeal needed to drive high physical album sales, as Blackpink's core fandom had always been more engaged with streaming and digital platforms rather than physical purchases. However, the issues haven't been limited to just the music side of things. In fact, her company's decision to market her song under the general pop category in Western markets put her against established artists, something she just couldn't compete with. Now fans are wondering if the outcome might have been different if Lisa had been introduced as a fresh new artist in the West, rather than jumping straight into big appearances like the Oscars and the Vanity Fair cover. Aside from this, even her merchandise has sparked controversy, adding even more to the frustration fans have felt as they feel like she isn't getting the treatment she deserves. One of the most talked about concerns lately has been the design of her newly released light stick. At first, fans were excited to see Lisa's own light stick, which has been a long-awaited drop that would truly solidify her independence as a solo artist. However, once the star design was revealed, the reaction was mixed. While many admired its unique look, concerns quickly arose about its practicality, with the main issue being the sharp edges. Fans were quick to point out that the light stick's design might not be safe to bring to concerts, with some even speculating that certain venues in the US and UK might go as far as banning it completely from venues. One fan even commented, "Looks hard, but I would not want to stand next to someone waving that thing around. Could end bloody." Many ultimately questioned whether the product was properly thought through, considering its intended use in crowded concert environments, and the backlash only intensified the ongoing conversation about Lisa's solo career being mismanaged. The light stick was just another example of how fans believe that she isn't receiving the same level of careful planning that other artists do. And just when things seemed like they couldn't get any worse, Lisa faced yet another hurdle as official reviews for Alter Ego started pouring in. Fans were shocked when the well-known publication Pitchfork gave an overly harsh review of the album, with the overall review score being 5.2 out of 10 and brutally direct criticism of both Lisa and her music. One particularly harsh comment from the review stated, "Lisa, who is part of the record-setting K-pop girl group BLACKPINK, needs to convince you that she has depth without her bandmates. Alter Ego proves she doesn't. Other critiques seem to focus on the album's lack of creative risk-taking, with the reviewer claiming that Lisa was playing it too safe and that her best songs were carried more by their production than by her own artistic presence. The review quickly went viral, igniting many debates among fans as some agreed with the criticisms, admitting that while Lisa was extremely talented, the album itself could have pushed boundaries more. One fan remarked, "The album's strengths are its production and features, but Lisa doesn't really shine in it." Others, however, felt the review was unnecessarily harsh, accusing Pitchfork of deliberately trying to stir controversy and shine a bad light on Lisa, especially after she had been through so much already. One fan wrote, "That first paragraph alone is absolutely brutal, damn," with others calling the review rage bait, arguing that Lisa was being held to unfair standards. While negative reviews aren't necessarily a targeted thing, with people being entitled to their own opinions, especially well-known musical publications, the sheer number of obstacles Lisa has faced made this particular criticism feel like yet another attempt at sabotaging her career. However, despite the negativity, fans tried their best to keep things positive and keep supporting Lisa's solo career, but just when the dust seemed to settle, yet another controversy arose. This time, it was about the signed copies of Alter Ego, as fans who had ordered the special edition albums had been eagerly waiting for them, only to notice something strange when they started arriving. The issue seemed to be that the signatures appeared to be identical across multiple copies, something that immediately sparked suspicions of AutoPen technology being used instead of Lisa personally signing each album. This was especially frustrating for fans who had paid a premium price for what they believed would be a hand-signed item, leading many to suspect that the company had yet again attempted to take the easy way out with their management. Online discussions quickly filled with frustrated fans sharing side-by-side images of their albums, showing identical signatures with no variation, as fans commented. "It just feels intentionally misleading, and if they're going to use AutoPen, they should at least be upfront about it and charge a different price." With all the setbacks piling up, fans can't help but feel that Lisa might have missed the mark with her solo career, as things clearly haven't gone as planned. Now, some are questioning whether the poor promotion was really the main issue, or if things could have turned out differently had Lisa made other creative choices with her music after leaving YG. What do you think? On the other hand, Jennie managed to capture critical acclaim, making her album the only BLACKPINK solo project that truly won over the critics. From Rosé's heartfelt album to Lisa's energetic hip-hop and Jisoo's elegant ballads, BLACKPINK's solo releases have been nothing short of major cultural moments, sparking excitement and debate. Yet, despite their success, it was only Jennie's solo album that consistently won over the critics, but why is that? After dominating global music charts with her hit single Mantra, Jennie finally released her long-awaited solo album, Ruby, on March 7th, 2025. Jennie has long been regarded as K-pop's ultimate it girl, known for her trend-setting style, stage presence, and undeniable star power. However, with her new album Ruby, she challenges that image, proving she is more than just a fashion icon or pop sensation. The album is a sophisticated, well-crafted mix of glossy pop, rap, and even electronic elements, showcasing her growth as an artist. As the last BLACKPINK member to debut a full solo album, expectations were sky high, and let's just say Ruby did not disappoint. Like her groupmate's solo projects, Jennie's album also boasts collaborations with some of the biggest names in the pop industry, blending various influences to create a unique and polished sound. So, without further delay, let's take a closer look at what made Jennie's album stand out and why it received such high praise from critics. From the very beginning, the pre-promotion phase of Ruby was nothing short of spectacular. Fans eagerly pieced together hints, fueling anticipation that only grew stronger with time, and the wait was well worth it. The excitement kicked off in April 2024 when South Korean rapper Zico, following his collaboration with Jennie on the song Spot, revealed to Billboard that he had the chance to peek at Jennie's to-be-released solo track demos, praising them as so many good ones. The buzz continued in May when Jennie attended the Met Gala and teased her album in an interview with Vogue, playfully hinting, "I also have a lot more coming with my album, wink wink." Then on June 20th, fans were in for a surprise when a Beats Solo Buds advertisement starring Jennie was released, featuring a brand new solo track. In the song, she raps over a trap beat with bold lyrics about taking control of her story and standing up for herself. This instantly sparked excitement, especially when a longer snippet of the song was later released on her TikTok page. Right away, fans flooded the comment section and X with speculation about the song's meaning. Many believed the lyrics were aimed at her former company, YG Entertainment, interpreting them as a subtle diss, allegedly restricting BLACKPINK members from pursuing their solo careers and reaching their full potential. Others saw it as a strategic move, move, pointing out that Western artists have used similar pre-releases through Beats ads before. For example, in 2023, Normani, a member of the American girl group Fifth Harmony, previewed candy paint in a Beats commercial before officially releasing it as part of her debut solo album Dopamine last year. No matter the reason, fans were thrilled by Jennie's clever marketing approach and praised her team for being so detail-oriented. Many admired how every step of her rollout seemed carefully planned, with one comment saying, "Jennie is so inventive that she found ways to promote her entire album, and one of them is now with a microphone for Vogue Korea coming soon," which definitely added to the anticipation for what was to come. As a result, what truly sets it apart is Jennie's openness throughout the album's creation. Unlike many artists who keep their projects under wraps, she frequently engaged with fans, offering glimpses into her progress. Fast forward to the release of Mantra, and critics were already excited for what was to come. Surprisingly, the song subtly hinted at a shift in her musical style. Through its empowering lyrics, she confidently embraces her independence, proving to the world that she is a self-sufficient woman determined to pursue her dreams on her own terms. In no time, Mantra quickly became a fan favorite and received widespread acclaim from critics. Particularly, Vogue Singapore highlighted its significance in its review, stating, "Mantra is a power move. With Jennie's unabashed confidence and hyperfemme lyrics, this is a song by the girls for the girls." Beyond the song's captivating sound, what garnered even more attention, besides Jennie's effortlessly iconic loose curls and sun-kissed aesthetic, was the all-female creative team behind it. Not only was her group of songwriters composed mostly of women, but she also collaborated with Tanu Muino, a rising Ukrainian director who has been making waves in the music video industry. With each teaser and reveal, Jennie kept fans on their toes, making the lead up to Ruby as exciting as the album later proved itself to be. March 7th arrived, and with it came Ruby, an album that revealed a whole new side of Jennie. For those who don't know, Ruby is loosely inspired by Shakespeare's As You Like It, exploring life's journey from beginning to end. Jennie herself emphasized the album's idea, stating through her agency, OA Entertainment, that this album holds great significance as it tells my story as a solo artist using my own voice and perspective. Moreover, Jennie shared that the album's cover image, which features an opening theater curtain, represents the beginning of a new chapter in her musical career. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, Jennie also expressed her hope of inspiring young women to embrace and stand up for who they truly are. This thoughtful representation reflects not only her artistic vision, but also the immense effort she poured into this project. Across 15 tracks, she delivers confidence, sharp lyricism, and bold production, creating something raw, powerful, and completely her own. And just when people thought she couldn't raise the bar any higher, the title track, Like Jennie, dropped alongside the album and took everyone by surprise. The song storms in with hard-hitting beats and razor-sharp Korean rap, making it clear that she's done playing it safe. It's a direct statement to those who try to imitate her, reminding them that she's not just making music, she's setting the standard. Moreover, as an executive producer, she takes listeners on a journey full of highs and lows. The album opens with a bold statement before slowing things down in the middle, offering space for more introspective, melodic moments. Then the energy surges back with Zen and Filter, leading up to one of the album's most emotional songs, Twin, which Jennie later revealed to be a heartbreaking letter about the pain of a broken friendship. Jennie also teams up with a star-studded lineup of collaborators, including Dua Lipa on Handlebars, Dominic Fike on Love Hangover, Doechii on Extra L, and both Childish Gambino and Kali Uchis on Damn Right, proving her ability to blend effortlessly across different sounds and styles. Unlike her previous solo releases under YG Entertainment, fans feel that Ruby is much more personal. It shows how Jennie has grown, not just as a performer, but as a true musician with her own unique style. One fan summed it up perfectly by saying, "The whole album sounds cohesive even after being so versatile, and that's a huge plus because not everyone can do that well." In K-pop, first-week album sales are a key indicator of an artist's popularity and fanbase size. But with such diversity, it really wasn't a surprise that Jennie set a new record for the highest number of first-week album sales by a K-pop female soloist this year. And the praises her album got, there were literally too many. Critics were largely impressed, with Metacritic giving the album a weighted average score of 74 out of 100 based on 5 reviews. NME's Crystal Bell rated it 4 out of 5 stars, praising Jennie's charisma, vocal versatility, and confident artistic direction. Over at Clash, Maria Leticia Gomez described Ruby as an exhilarating listen that pushed Jennie's artistry to new heights. Meanwhile, Maria Sherman of the Associated Press highlighted the album's ambitious production, calling it a kaleidoscope of different sounds filled with polished surprises. Rolling Stone's Maura Johnston also weighed in, giving Ruby 3.5 out of 5 stars, summing it up as a fast-moving good time that showcases Jennie's strong command of the R&B pop genre. However, not all reviews were met with open arms, as some critiques felt overly harsh. Recently, Pitchfork, a well-known music magazine, published its review of Jennie's album. To everyone's surprise, it gave Ruby a 7.1, the highest score any K-pop artist has received on the site. Fans were over the moon about the achievement, with one celebrating the moment by commenting, "Even without considering how harsh Pitchfork is, this is still a pretty good rating. Congrats, Jennie." However, what the article talked about didn't sit well with many fans. The review, written by Joshua Min-soo Kim, praised Ruby, but seemingly at the expense of the other BLACKPINK members' solo projects. The author directly compared Jennie's work to her bandmates, writing, "Rosé's Rosie lacked interiority and Lisa's alter ego whiffed its titular premise. Jisoo's Amortage fared better, but only because it embraced anonymity." The reviewer then concluded by mentioning that Jennie's album Ruby takes a similar approach, but with better production and songwriting. According to him, her music stands out the most in the group because it simply sounds better while others lack. For many fans, this comparison felt unnecessary and disrespectful. While they appreciated the praise for Jennie, according to them, shading the other three members to make that point wasn't really necessary. Furthermore, the article also criticized BLACKPINK's shift toward Western audiences, arguing that their music had lost its charm and now felt mass-produced, almost like it was made for Kids Bop. This didn't sit well with many, as fans later pointed out that the reviewer had a history of being particularly critical of K-pop idols, especially toward BLACKPINK members like Lisa. Frustrated by the review, they didn't hold back their backlash, commenting, "Never seen such an unprofessional review because the writer had to shade and disrespect the other three girls to praise. This is the same writer openly shading Lisa for the last 10 days." As expected, this situation led to some fan wars. It was bound to happen. With each BLACKPINK member currently pursuing their own project, some toxic solo stans add fuel to the fire, stirring up unnecessary drama by questioning their bond and dedication to the group. However, Jennie, being who she is, wasted no time in shutting down any rumors of conflict within the group during her appearance on the Zane Lowe show. Jennie not only talked about her solo album, but also set the record straight about BLACKPINK by stating, "As long as the four of us love each other, I think there is no reason for anyone to see us separately." As one of the biggest and most influential K-pop stars of her generation, Ruby could have easily been a safe and crowd-pleasing album built on Jennie's fame. But that's not the Jennie we know. What truly stands out about the album is how she pushes herself creatively while maintaining the signature Jennie flair that fans love. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to not miss any new content.